If you're looking for a complete introduction to the advantages, disadvantages, and features of Xiaomi 11T, stay with us until the end of this video. Well, here we have sort of a heavy cell phone that weighs 204 grams and has about 9mm width. And thanks to its curved edges, it feels comfortable in your hand. Plus, you could easily work with it with one hand. In fact, considering the type of material used for making this phone, the weight seems to be reasonable. The materials of this cell phone's frame involve plastic and aluminum in a way that the designers put aluminum as the first layer and then put plastic above that. To protect the case from getting damaged, Gorilla Glass Victus technology is used for both the back and front, which protects it from scratches and falling from a height up to 1 meter. There is a triple camera module embedded on the back of the phone, which is a little out the line. Of course, the amount of the camera being out of line in this series of phones is 44% less than the older Xiaomi models. That counts as an improvement for Xiaomi. In the bottom part, you can find the ports for USB Type-C, microphone, and SIM slot that has room for 2 nano SIM cards. On the right, we have the volume and the power button, which is merged with the fingerprint sensor. It was a great idea to place the fingerprint sensor on the power button because it has easy access and it is comfortable to use. This sensor is very responsive and opens the lock of the phone so fast and makes you feel satisfied. As you can see, this phone does not support microSD memory cards and also does not have a 3.5mm sound jack. Recently, many smartphone companies have been making their flagship phones in this way, which some people may find it unpleasant. This phone has got 2 stereo speakers, which one of them is on the downside and the other one is placed in the earpiece on the top of the phone. The quality is good, and the sound comes out clear and loud. They also have a good balance in playing the audio, but in some cases, it may have just a little noise, however, you may not even notice it. I should add that 11T has an IP53 license, which means that it is dust-proof and can also handle some splashed water, but unfortunately, it is not completely waterproof, and it is not strong enough to resist the water pressure while you're diving. So if you're looking for a phone to use its camera under the water, this is not really a good choice for you. Here we can see a large 6.67-inch screen on which there's a selfie camera placed. This camera also functions as a Face ID that has a good speed. The screen contains the AMOLED panel, which supports a resolution up to 2400 pixels in 1080 pixels, with a 120Hz refresh rate, and finally, a maximum of 1000 nits brightness. Most of the time, the screen visibility is very clear, but in sunlight, it might still look a little dark despite having the 1000 nits brightness. Well, I have to say that we are dealing with a wonderful screen, which we believe this could be the hallmark of this phone. It has great clarity and color depth, and it also shows the natural colors very well. Of course, you can change the color display mode in your settings and set it on your default. Also, you can put the refresh rate at 60Hz, which in this way, you could consume less battery power. As you can see, the screen is really fast and responsive due to having great refresh and touch sampling rate, and working very smoothly with no lags. This feature is so useful, especially for playing games to provide a memorable gaming experience for the users. Also, it supports HDR10+, and if you're interested in watching movies on your mobile phone, this feature is here to allow you to watch YouTube and Netflix with much better quality. 11T uses the 1200 Ultra 5G MediaTek Dimensity chipset, a quite powerful CPU that has been introduced lately, and also supports 5G internet and Wi-Fi 6. The internet speed is excellent on this phone, so you will not face any problems no matter if you're using Wi-Fi or data. This chipset is less powerful in comparison to the 888 Qualcomm Snapdragon, which is used in 11T Pro. However, this does not mean that it will not function well. In fact, we are seeing a powerful CPU that is very fast and loads all the apps quickly. And also, there is not much pressure on the battery because of its 3 GHz frequency. Thanks to this CPU, the 8 GB RAM, and the 120 Hz refresh rate, lots of games can be played on this phone easily without any lags. Of course, I have to mention that the phone will overheat after 2 or 3 hours of playing games, but not as much as 11T Pro. So, it's a very important criterion that you have to take into account. Because after a few hours of playing games, the CPU could get so hot that you can't use your camera or hotspot until it is not called back again. As I mentioned earlier, this phone has 8 GB RAM with two 128 and 256 GB storage supplied from 3.1 really quick UFS. This mobile phone is made with an unreplaceable polymer lithium battery with a 5000 mAh capacity. By supporting fast charge, this phone can be charged from 0 to 100% in less than 40 minutes, which counts as a good speed, but it is slower when compared to 11T Pro. For everyday use, the battery charge will last for 2 and will not die for almost a day during heavy usage, which we can say that it is good enough but not great. Xiaomi 11T uses Android 11 and the MIUI 12.5 interface. This interface, which has been released recently, lets you remove lots of apps that you do not want to be on your phone, and also has lots of interesting super wallpapers that you can use. In general, this interface lets the users personalize lots of their preferences, which is a really good point. 11T has 3 cameras. These cameras have the same appearance as the ones that have been used in 11T Pro, but they're more limited in functioning and performance. So let's see. The main 109 megapixels camera has a wide lens and has an autofocus option. The quality of the pictures is good and also captures the details very well. You can see some of the shots taken by it here. You can see that the colors in this camera are almost natural and they have high clarity. The second camera is 8 megapixels with an ultra-wide lens and has 120 degrees cover, meaning that you can place more and wider back screens in your photos. The picture's quality is a bit weaker compared to the main camera, but overall it will get things done. But to be honest, since Xiaomi 11T is a flagship phone, the designers could have used a 13 megapixels lens instead of 8 to provide better image quality. Some of the photos taken by the camera of this phone. The third camera is 5 megapixels with a macro lens and autofocus's ability. This camera is really not so interesting for a flagship phone, and it would be so much better if they have used a telephoto lens instead of a macro. You can also see the night mode in this camera, which has some noise in the pictures and the photos do not have too much quality. Well, you can take videos with the main camera with 2 different qualities involving 4K 3 frames per second and 1080 pixels with 30, 60 and 120 frames per second. Although there is no optical stabilizer in this camera and none of the other ones, we can see that the videos have good quality and they're almost steady due to having an electronic stabilizer that is used in this camera. But on the selfie camera, even despite being equipped with a digital stabilizer, we can see that the frame moves too much. You can also take a look at the photos taken by the 16 megapixel selfie camera, which the background light is a little too much, but the details and the clarity of the photo are almost really good. Generally, we cannot say that this is a wonderful camera, but it is still good. With spending about $500, you can own a smartphone with a good CPU, fast charge speed supporting Wi-Fi 6, and also fast storage. The awesome screen and a solid frame are 2 important options for this phone. But if you're a gamer or you want the best camera, this might not be the best choice for you. Additionally, Xiaomi has considered 3 years of Android updates and 4 years of security patch updates for this phone, which makes the price really decent. Now, it's your turn to decide if this is a proper phone for you or not. Tell us your comments on 11T and ask you have any questions. Subscribe to the Bezo channel to know about other phones introductions.